Hey there, for Niners faithful! Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into everything San Francisco 49ers. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button so you never miss any breaking news, roster updates, or exciting insights about our beloved Niners. We're just getting started, and trust me, you want to stick around for what's coming next. Alright, let's get into it today. I want to talk about the recent signing of Equanimeous St. Brown by the 49ers. I know the initial reactions have been a little quieter than I expected. Maybe not as loud or as excited as some of you might have hoped. But I genuinely want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this signing? Drop your opinions in the comments below, because this is a conversation worth having now. I'm not here to sell you some hype or claim that the 49ers just landed the best wide receiver in the league. There's no clickbait here, no exaggeration. This is an honest take. Equanimeous St. Brown is a depth signing, plain and simple. He's not a star, at least not yet. But he brings some intriguing qualities to the table that make me optimistic in some ways. And I'll explain why in a moment. Before we get to that, though, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the bigger picture. First day of training camp has been buzzing with news and a lot to unpack. Honestly, the atmosphere around the team feels electric, but also cautious. Like everyone knows, there's work to be done. One of the biggest topics swirling around right now is the situation with Jawan Jennings. For those following closely, there's been a lot of back and forth and speculation about whether Jennings is going to get traded or renegotiate his contract. Now, I want to be clear that from where I'm sitting, this is a positive development. I was a little nervous in the last week or so, because I wasn't sure how this was going to shake out. But today's news has me feeling pretty good about the direction things are headed. The key update is this: Jawan Jennings has reported to camp, passed his physical, and is expected to practice tomorrow. And here's the kicker: according to Shanahan, he has not formally requested a trade. That last detail is huge, especially given how things unfolded with other players like Deebo Samuel in the past, who formally asked for a trade. So, while there's still a lot of uncertainty, this is definitely good news for the 49ers and the fans. Now, let me address something that might temper your excitement just a little bit. The phrase "expected to practice" is one we've heard before. Remember Brandon Ayuk last year? He was expected to practice, and yet, we all know how that story went. John Lynch, the GM, has been consistent in setting expectations, but at the end of the day, it's up to the players to decide if and when they step onto the field. The organization can't force that, so while the news about Jennings practicing sounds great on paper, it doesn't necessarily guarantee we'll see him out there tomorrow or even soon after. That's just the reality of professional sports. But here's what makes this situation interesting. Adam Schefter, a very reliable NFL reporter, stated that Jennings wants to be traded or is at least seeking a new deal. So how do we reconcile that with Shanahan saying there's no formal trade request? The key lies in understanding what formal means in this context. A formal trade request isn't official, documented communication from the player or his agent to the team. Right now, that hasn't happened. But there's clearly some behind-the-scenes discussion, probably led by Jennings' agent putting pressure on the team. So, while there's no formal request, the intention to move on or renegotiate is very real. This is where I want to introduce some optimism. Shanahan, during his press conference, framed this entire situation not as drama, but as business. That's a mature, level-headed way to look at it, and frankly, it's refreshing. Shanahan emphasized that the relationship between the team and Jennings is strong. They like each other and want to find a solution. It's just a matter of sorting out the contractual details. That's how professional teams should handle these tricky situations. But it doesn't always happen that way. We've seen other cases in the league where tension boils over publicly, and it becomes a distraction. In the past, the 49ers have not always handled these situations smoothly. Remember Brandon Ayuk's contract negotiations? Reports suggested that a deal could have been reached before summer, possibly in the $29 million average annual value range, but it dragged on. And that delay ended up costing the team more in the long run. But I think the team has learned from those mistakes and is trying to be more thoughtful this time around. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic. Everyone is on the same page about how much they want to make it work. Another interesting angle Shanahan touched on was mentioning Colton McKivitz, another player in a similar contract situation. Shanahan noted that McKivitz and Jennings both feel good about the team and vice versa. The business side, the contract details, is the only sticking point. Shanahan said this isn't drama, it's just the nature of the business. That kind of honesty and transparency is exactly what you want from your coach. Back to Equanimous St. Brown for a moment. The 49ers officially signed him after he had a tryout during camp. His stats might not jump off the page. Over 6 seasons, 63 receptions for 928 yards and 2 touchdowns across 60 career games. That's not star material. But what stands out is his size and athleticism. At 6'5", he's a big target and ran a 4.4 for 40-yard dash before the draft, which is impressive speed for a receiver his size. And of course, we can't ignore the bloodline. His brother, MOURNS St. Brown, has shown what kind of player he can be. So, there's potential here if the right coaching and opportunity come together. And honestly, when I think about who can unlock a wide receiver's potential, Kyle Shanahan's name is always at the top of the list. The way Shanahan designs routes, challenges his receivers, and demands excellence in practice and preparation has consistently turned players into stars, or at least solid contributors. So while St. Brown is currently a depth player, I'm not ruling out the possibility that this signing could pay off. Shanahan also talked about how the team needs 12 wide receivers on the roster to run training camp the way he wants. That's why signing St. Brown makes sense. He fills that 12th spot, which may not sound glamorous, but it's critical. Every team needs quality depth, and sometimes those depth players turn out to be key contributors during the season due to injuries or unexpected changes. In addition to St. Brown, there's plenty of talent in the wide receiver room that fans should be excited about. Brandon Ayuk, Jacob Cowing, Ricky Pierce, and others give the 49ers multiple weapons on offense. Mike Tannenbaum from ESPN even mentioned the 49ers as a team to watch, citing Christian McCaffrey when healthy, George Kittle still in his prime, and a solid offensive line led by Trent Williams. He included St. Brown among the group of promising players, which is notable given that he tends to focus on bigger names. Before we move to injury updates, let me just say, I love the energy around this team right now. There's a real sense that 2025 could be a breakout year for a lot of guys, especially the younger or lesser-known receivers. This is their moment, and it's an exciting time to be a Niners fan. Now, moving on from the wide receiver room and the contract drama, let's dive into some injury updates and how those might impact the 49ers' 2025 season. Injuries are always a critical factor in football, especially as teams head into training camp and the preseason. The health of key players often dictates how far a team can go, and the 49ers are no exception. Starting with Christian McCaffrey, the heart and soul of the 49ers offense. His health status is something every fan is watching closely. McCaffrey has battled injuries over the past couple of seasons, but when he's on the field, he's arguably the most dynamic player in the league. He's a dual-threat running back who can beat defenses with his speed, elusiveness, and ability to catch passes out of the backfield. This makes him indispensable in Kyle Shanahan's offensive scheme, which heavily relies on versatile playmakers. The good news coming out of camp is that McCaffrey is reportedly looking good so far. He has been participating fully in practices and seems to be in great shape. There's no official announcement that he'll miss time, which is always a positive sign. But of course, with McCaffrey, fans know how cautious the team has to be. He's a valuable asset that they won't rush back if there's even the slightest concern. However, if he continues on this track, the 49ers offense should look as explosive as ever. Moving on to the offensive line, this group is often described as the foundation of any successful NFL team. The 49ers boast a formidable unit, headlined by Trent Williams, who remains one of the best left tackles in the league. The line also includes promising young players like Justin Skule and Colton McKivitz. However, depth on the offensive line is always a concern due to the physical toll the position takes on players. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers around the NFL are growing louder, and one name at the center of the latest speculation is none other than Christian McCaffrey, the San Francisco 49ers star running back. Fresh off a sensational season that solidified his reputation as one of the league's elite playmakers, is now the subject of trade rumors that have taken fans and insiders by surprise. While there has been no official word from the 49ers front office, several league sources have hinted that discussions behind Closed doors may involve exploring McCaffrey's future with the team. Whether it's cap space concerns, long-term roster planning, or potential offers too good to pass up, speculation is swirling that San Francisco might be open to listening, if not actively shopping their offensive centerpiece. It's hard to imagine the 49ers without McCaffrey's dynamic presence in the backfield. Since his arrival via trade from the Carolina Panthers, he's been nothing short of electric. His ability to turn any play into a highlight reel moment has transformed the Niners' offense and made him a fan favorite, but as history has shown, no one in the NFL is truly untouchable. Some insiders believe the recent drafting of young running backs and the front office's increasing focus on a more balanced cap sheet could hint at bigger moves ahead. Could this be an early sign of a roster shakeup in the Bay Area? Others suggest that McCaffrey's value has never been higher, and if the right deal came along, perhaps a package of draft picks and immediate contributors, San Francisco might be tempted to make a bold move. Of course, it's all just talk for now, but in the NFL, where fortunes can shift overnight, it's not uncommon for rumors to plant the seeds of reality. For now, fans can only hold their breath and hope the whispers don't grow into headlines. But one thing is certain: where there's smoke, there's often fire, and right now, the McCaffrey chatter is starting to smolder. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.